Hi, this is Thomas Parham here with the Con Guys on behalf of the Hashtag Show, as well as my podcast, ScreenTom. And I'm here with sci-fi royalty Rod Roddenberry and his producing partner, Trevor Roth. Rod, how gratifying is it that the newest Star Trek show, Strange New Worlds, has really resonated, not just with fandom, but with pop culture in general?
I've got to say, and it's resonated with me, too. I think there's a sort of a tricky balance that the studios and all content creators try to do, where they take a concept that's been around for many years, and they try to bring some of the old in, but also keep some fresh and bring some fresh and new stories in. And they've done a real great job with Strange New Worlds. I'm incredibly proud of it. And not only that, they're doing some risk-taking too. I think some of the stories have even a comedic element, which we're not that used to seeing in Star Trek. And it kind of strikes you a little odd at first, but once you watch the whole thing, you're really sort of impressed by how they're able to keep some of the Star Trek philosophy and ideology in there, as well as make it more fun. So they're doing a great job with Strange New Worlds.
I think it's really interesting that the two characters played by your mom,
yes,
Nurse Chapel and also Number One, are both represented in Strange New Worlds. How cool is that?
I'm so happy. You know, my mother's a bit of an unsung hero. My father did create Star Trek, but there were many people involved. And least to say, my mother, she was there the whole time. I mean, the entertainment industry, as people know, is a real tough business. And, there's a lot of hurdles my father had to face, and my mother was with him through every single one of them and gave him the inspiration and the courage to continue and keep fighting. So I'm glad she's represented. She deserves it.
Definitely. Trevor, aside from the Star Trek shows, what else does Roddenberry Entertainment have in the mix?
Well, we have some announcements that are going to be coming out I can't quite talk about yet, so you'll see them soon. But in addition to that, we also continue to really expand our horizons and support the Star Trek shows in ways through everything that's available today. Video games that you haven't heard about yet, but might be coming. We've got a number of podcasts that deal both with Star Trek and really also with fandom itself. You know, one of the things that we heavily believe in is that Star Trek was sort of that formative fan-oriented show, a long time ago that perhaps led us to being at a place like Comic-Con today. And in that, we're really delving into fandom as a whole. On the floor right now, we're dealing with a company called Streamily that really kind of levels up on what fandom is. We have a booth with them. We also have a number of fan-oriented podcasts. One's called Fanatics that really talks about, the fact that celebrities are fans too. So each episode we get a celebrity and we find out, what are you a fan of? And you learn things like Michael C. Hall is a huge Chip Gaines fan from Magnolia and other things like that. So really trying to expand what we're based in and what we know and understand and really enjoy it with the rest of the world through all of the things we do.
Let's talk a little bit about legacy. How awesome is it that a lot of what modern day fandom is came from what Star Trek started as and then has evolved since then? But not only fandom, but just popular culture and real culture. Presidents have been Star Trek fans, astronauts, scientists, etc.
I certainly don't want to stand here and say that Star Trek deserves the credit for fandom. I mean, people have been fans of things for years. I was having a conversation with someone the other day. In fact, we did in the documentary Trek Nation. Harley Davidson riders are geeks, are fans. They wear costumes.
Don't call them that. They will not.
We've all been fans of things for the longest time. But it is wonderful that Star Trek was one. And I can't even say one of the first, because people have been fans of comic books and novels that have been sci-fi. But to have a series, or many series, for 56 years now, or 56? 56 years now, that people have loved and have been such a huge population in fandom, that's incredible. I mean, that's fantastic. And the difference that I want to say in Star Trek sci-fi is that the messages, the ethics, the ideas that are in Star Trek, the fact that you can watch an episode and it can make you think about a certain topic in a different way, give you a unique perspective. That is what's truly unique, in my opinion, of Star Trek. If Star Trek were just sci-fi, well, it would be entertaining, but I don't think it would last 56 years.
I think one of the things you're not giving your father credit for, however, is the fact that he, as a young boy, was a fan of many things, but saw the power of television and how that mass medium could change the landscape of that fandom. So while there were fans before, I think that Gene Roddenberry was able to recognize that by utilizing the technology, the media vehicles of his day, that fandom could really blow up, and what he enjoyed as a kid could now be given to so many more people all at one time.
Excellent point.
I think one of the things that's really interesting about the timing of Strange New Worlds is they've had an opportunity in this first season to address real world issues in a way the other shows didn't or really couldn't, because the world wasn't where it is now. Could you speak to that?
Well, I love this idea here. I really want to give credit to the changing landscape of entertainment television. I mean, you're no longer limited to traditional television and commercials and these time slots. You have this freedom to not just make content at different lengths, but to really sort of push the boundaries. And whether it's content that really makes you think, or perhaps it's got a comedic angle to it, whatever the case is, I think it's really given a lot of freedom to the content creators out there to do these sorts of things. I do have to say, I don't remember the name of the episode because it's long, but the one with the kid in it, and the child has to suffer in order for this civilization to go on, and Starfleet can't do anything about it. I mean, honestly, tears my heart out. And it brought me back to
City on the Edge of Forever.
City on the Edge of Forever, but also the episode that I love so much, The Horda.
Oh, yeah. Devil in the Dark.
Thank you, Devil in the Dark.
You got it.
Where there were enough questions asked and enough positions in there that made me sort of really question my own life and question the reality that I live in. And so that is great Star Trek for me, where it makes me just sort of step back and realize sort of the things I take for granted and I might relate to in this situation. So it was I loved it.
And it totally follows your dad's vision. Somebody was asking, when did Star Trek get so woke? 1966.
Yes, those are unique questions.
And can we talk about the cast? I mean, has there been such a perfect cast, basically picking up where your dad's pilot left off?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think the characters obviously come from a place of canon. We all, were able through the menagerie, or if you've seen The Cage, to be able to know what Gene's original incarnation of this show was, what the characters were. And the casting directors have taken that, just to the nth degree with the talent. They have veterans like Anson Mount and Rebecca Romaine and Ethan Peck, who had been Spock for already a season before this in Discovery. And then they brought these amazing, fresh new faces with Jess and all these other people that really just bring this fantastic new balance, I think, to those who love Star Trek and those who are new to Star Trek, and allowing them to be part of this family, who really, by the way, are such a wonderful family. I think what you see on screen is most assuredly an indication of how they are off screen. I think that that's one of the best parts of most of our Star Trek shows, is we happen to have found this group of cast that are able to come together. And I think that was one of Gene's original sort of wagon train to the stars kind of components, is that they should feel like that in one way or another.
I love Ortegas.
Yes.
I just love
So
Ortegas.
cool.
One of my friends was complaining, but there's too much humor in the bridge. It's like, dude, I've been on the bridge of a warship in a combat zone. Everything is not all serious, and there are people who make the snarky remark, and they make it an eye roll, or they have a captive audience, regardless.
Love her.
It's a great balance. Yep.
One of the things I love is there's lots of Star Trek, but all of them have a slightly different flavor.
Yes, they do.
So, and Lower Decks was kind of a pleasant surprise, because it would work in live action. They don't do anything so far afield that wouldn't work in live action, and it's obvious that he's a big TNG lover. But and the one for kids, Prodigy, is a lot of fun too. It's pretty dark for kids.
Prodigy is one of my favorites. Prodigy really is one of my
Beautifully
favorites.
designed.
Yeah.
So for me, there can never be enough Star Trek. I am in. I do the Paramount Plus year-long subscription without commercials.
I think it's really worth it today. If there's enough Star Trek out there, and it's so unique and different each series, as you said, that if you don't like one, you've got 4 others to choose from. And I mean that genuinely. They are so different that one of them should speak to you. And again, no one has to like Star Trek. If you're a Star Wars fan, awesome. I love Star Wars too. But the Star Trek is so unique right now, and it's firing on all cylinders, as Trevor said earlier. I truly, truly love it, and I think there's a great opportunity for anyone to check it out.
I think the real aspect of your father's legacy that comes through is all of them say we're still in our infancy as a species, but we will survive it. There will be some bloodshed, but we will survive it and be able to reach for the stars together. Any panelists want to plug?
Yeah, we have a panel later today, I think at 1:30 in 24 A, B, and C. It's called Roddenberry Presents. You'll learn a lot more about all of the projects we're dealing with right now. Tomorrow, I think we have a panel with Streamily, a new company that we're sort of leveling up fandom with, that you should come see. And then, of course, Hall H on Saturday, which we are beyond excited about every year to be in Hall H and get to share Star Trek with such a large audience. It's amazing.
Rod, Trevor, thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us. Cheers.
Live long and prosper.
Yes, same to you, and same to you. And cartwheels.